So we're recording now. So what I'd like you to do, if you wouldn't mind, if you just put yourselves on mute, and if you'd like just to turn off your videos. There we go. Lovely. Thank you, everyone. So you can lie down. What we're going to do today, given it's the 1st of the 1st, 2021, we're going to do 2 practices. And the first practice is just going to be arriving, letting our day or morning go, and just coming and focusing on the breath. And then the second practice, we're going to play a little, and we're going to do a little guided writing exercise, but I will lead you through it. And then you'll have an opportunity just to write, and it's an example just to be really free with your imagination. And then I'll guide you through that writing as well. So let's start with our first practice together. So you can remain seated or you can lie down. And if I've got my eyes open now and then, it's just to see if anybody else arrives. So just closing your eyes or lowering your gaze, whatever's more comfortable. And let's begin by taking 3 very conscious deep breaths. So breathing in a really big inhale and exhaling. And as you're exhaling, imagining that every cell begins to soften in the body. So breathing in a beautiful, deep, big inhale. Filling those lungs of yours with air. And then really releasing on the exhale and just imagining you're sinking down into the body. So we're moving from the head down into the body. And another beautiful big inhale, breathing in. And then really exhaling, sinking down into the body and just imagining that every cell begins to soften. And now taking your attention around the body, every part of the body that is in contact with what you're sitting on or what you're lying down on. So let's begin with our feet. So bringing your attention down to the soles of your feet or the backs of your heels, and just sensing that connection with the earth. And then moving your awareness up to your lower legs, the backs of your knees, the backs of your thighs, your buttocks, your sacrum, lower back, middle back, middle of the back, your upper back and shoulder blades, the back of the head, and bringing now your attention around to the arms, any part of the arms in contact with a cushion or a chair or whatever you're lying down on, and your hands. So just allowing the floor or the chair to really, really support your weight. So there's an essence of letting go, letting gravity do its thing, and letting the support of the chair or the floor really contain and hold our weight. And now turning your attention towards the breath, wherever the breath settles in the body. So for some of you, you may just notice the breath in the nostrils. You may just sense the breath in the chest, or maybe the diaphragm or the abdomen. So resting your attention on the breath and just allowing everything else, thoughts, to-do lists, ideas, planning, things you have to do after this, letting all of that fade into the background. And just in this moment, there is you and your breath. So by now your mind has probably wandered off the breath into thoughts, maybe daydream or fantasies, or it's amazing once our mind travels off how it can take off to different places from one thought to another thought. So building awareness is just noticing where the mind has traveled to. And then always with kindness, bringing your attention back to resting on the breath once more. So rather than thinking about the breath in the body, we're sensing the breath. We become the observer of the breath. So as you breathe in, before you commence the exhale, just taking a gentle pause and then commencing the exhale. And before beginning an inhale, bringing in a gentle pause. So we're staying with the breath for a full cycle. And bringing awareness, because we're developing a sense of curiosity always with this practice. So just beginning to notice how the breath is, the quality of the breath in this moment. How is the breath? Does it feel long and smooth? Do you feel like you're forcing the breath? Is the inhale longer than the exhale, or vice versa? Does the breath feel very tight or restricted? Does it feel uncomfortable? And then just allowing the breath to settle and placing or resting your attention with every inhale and with every exhale. So if the mind wanders off the breath into thoughts or even distractions, perhaps you can hear the noise of the fire in the background. Just noticing how it's so easy for our minds to wander off the breath. So we're building the muscle of attention by noticing every time our mind wanders. And then once again with kindness, we bring our attention back to resting on the breath once more. So every inhale is always a new beginning, and every exhale is a real letting go. So we're beginning again and letting go, beginning again and letting go. And as we've sat here for a little while, perhaps noticing if there's any sensations in the body that is pulling your attention away from the breath. So moving around the body and just becoming present to any sensations. Perhaps there's tightness or discomfort. Perhaps there's coolness or warmth. Perhaps tingling. So moving your attention around the body and just being curious. And anytime you notice a sensation is present, just imagine you're taking your breath to that sensation and you're exploring it with the breath, not needing to change it or to fix it. But you're just exploring that sensation with the breath. Noticing that when you do, the sensation may change on its own, or it may not, so that's equally fine. And when you're ready, just moving around the body and exploring any other sensations that may be present. Taking your breath there. The body often communicates to us through the language of sensation, but often our mind is so busy and our lives are so busy that we pay little attention to what the body is trying to communicate. So we're building awareness of sensations that are present in the body, no matter how small they are or how loud they may be. So when you feel complete, just taking your time, but when you feel complete, you can come back to resting your attention on the breath once more as you breathe in for a full inhalation, and as you breathe out for a full exhalation. And as you sit here, just bringing awareness now to how you're feeling in this moment. Are you feeling distracted? Are you feeling that there's a lot on your mind? Are you feeling at peace? Are you feeling tired or relaxed? Are you feeling like you're busy? Bringing awareness to how you feel in this moment and not judging that experience. You're just paying attention to what is. What am I feeling in this moment, and how am I feeling in this moment? And then coming home to that safe harbor of the breath once more. So when you feel complete, turning your attention to the breath. Resting your attention with every inhale and with every exhale. So as we come to close our first practice together, using your imagination once more to really extend the breath throughout the entire body, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head, as if the entire body is now breathing. The body has become porous with every inhale, and with every exhale, entire body is now breathing. And gently, in your own time, releasing this practice and opening your eyes. So for those of you who have joined, happy New Year. The second practice is we're going to do a little bit of playing together. So I know that typically on January the 1st, we love to do resolutions, and from experience, and you probably may have noticed the same as me, that resolutions don't tend to stick. We start off with really great intentions, and then something happens, whether we get bored or disinterested or it becomes too difficult, and they fall by the wayside. And really, today is like just any other day. It's while it's a new calendar year, there is really no difference from today from yesterday or the day before yesterday. But it's always sort of a nice punctuation to review our year, and then to perhaps look at the things that we want to create that are really, really important to us and are more heartfelt. So I want to lead you on a little guided exercise, because we're all gifted with the art of imagination. And Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge. So if we've been gifted with this imagination, why not use it to put ourselves in December 2021 and to look back on our life and to look at everything that we have created in our life that's been really important to us. So I'm going to guide you through this little exercise, and then we're going just to take one thing that is either a priority to us or something that's really important that we really value. And we're just going to take one thing from that, and that's the thing where you have a choice to create or not, because it all boils down to choice and consistency. So what I'd like to do is, let's begin just by doing a little meditation practice, just to come back to the breath and to be very centered and grounded in our body. And then I'll just guide you into this little visualization practice where you are in December 2021 and you're looking back on this past year and what you've created and what you might be doing. And then I'm going to ask you to pick up your journal. So if you don't have a journal, go grab it now. And you're going to pick up your journal and you're just going to start writing for 3 minutes, and I'll time you. And then the next part of that will be another 3 minutes, just writing about one thing that has really come out for that practice for you that you want to really focus on, because quite often there are many things that we want to create and we get quite overwhelmed, and we look at it sort of suddenly becomes a to-do list. And this is not about being task driven and, knocking things off on the list of things that we've got to do. So it's more heartfelt, it's more an end result that you want to create, of which there will be a few, and we're just going to choose one. Okay? So I'll guide you through it. So let's begin by just coming back to that breath. And we talk about that breath. So closing your eyes, you can lie down at this moment or stay seated. And we talk about coming home to that safe harbor. So the safe harbor of the breath in the body. So turning your attention towards the safe harbor of the breath. And this safe harbor is a place that you can come home to again and again and again throughout your day. In times of stress or busyness, we often forget, or even pain, discomfort, we often forget to breathe. So turning your attention towards the breath, sensing your safe harbor in the body. And the breath is always a beautiful anchor into the present moment, because we can't breathe in the future and we can't take a breath from the past. The breath is in the here and now. So, and the breath happens in the body, and the body is here, present. So sensing, witnessing the breath, observing the breath in the body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out. And just giving yourself full permission to utilize this gift that we're all being given, the gift of our imagination. So this is not about censoring, it's not about being the adult. It's about being playful and being really free, just like children are. And stepping into your imagination, just allowing yourself to be creative, spontaneous, imaginative. So giving yourself that permission. So you might even want to say to yourself, I choose to let myself be free with my imagination, or whatever words really resonate to you. And before we really step into this practice, just sensing the area of your heart, turning your attention to your heart and your chest. imagining the sensation or the feeling of love. Perhaps it's love for a pet, love for a family member. Because what love often does is it opens us up rather than closes us down. So thinking of something or someone that you love that makes you feel really good, and just bringing that to your mind's eye just for the moment. And really breathing that experience of love, breathing that in through your chest, through your heart. And now using your imagination to picture yourself late December 2021, a year from now. And imagine that you're looking back over your shoulder at this past year and all the things that you have created that have been important to you. So what end results have you created? What does life look like, smell like, taste like? What can you hear? What do you imagine? Look at everything that you've accomplished that's been really important to you. What are you doing? What have you done? Where can you see yourself? Perhaps you have done something you've always wanted to do, but you've never really given yourself the permission, or it's something that you've just put off. But now that thing has happened, you've created it, and it doesn't need to be really big. It can be something that's small. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling fulfilled or satisfied? Are you feeling really happy? Because end results are not just about the tangible things. It could be something that's you've cultivated within inside yourself. So perhaps that something is more confidence or more self-worth or a greater belief in your capability. Maybe it's even cultivating a greater sense of self-love, one of the hardest things. And maybe too, it's some of the bigger things, creating a new home or a new job, taking up art or something that you've wanted to do. If there's ever a time to have taken action and to really do something that's important and that you're committed to, it's 2021, because the previous year has really, really galvanized you into taking action. So it's no longer thinking about it or wishing for it. It's actually happened. You've created it. And you're feeling really, really good. You're proud of what you have done, of the end results, tangible or intangible, that you have created. These things that mean something to you, that are heartfelt. And just allowing yourself to bathe in this. Without censorship. We're allowing our imagination to be free and to make things up. But in December 2021, you're feeling proud. You're feeling deeply fulfilled. You're feeling happy. Life feels great. And now I want you just to pick up your journal and your pen, and without taking your pen off your journal, off the page, just begin writing about the end results that you have created. It's December 2021, and I'm going to time us. So just capturing everything that you saw in your imagination, what you're doing, how you're feeling, who you're with, what life looks like, the end results that you've created, and just begin writing freehand. And starting now for 3 minutes. There's no wrong, there's no right. Capturing everything in your imagination. Maybe this is a year to complete that book. Maybe this is the year to prepare yourself for love. Whatever it is, how great it is, how small it is. So try not to take your pen off the paper and just writing whatever is present. Okay, just completing that practice. If I can turn this off. I can't turn it off. I don't know why. There we go. So just completing that practice now and putting your pen and paper just to one side and closing your eyes again. And just choosing one thing that has come up for you in that exercise. One thing that really speaks to you, that really resonates. That one thing that you have accomplished or succeeded in creating. One end result. Whatever that may be, there's no judgment. And bring that one thing close to you so you feel very connected to it. And imagining that it's happened, that end result that you have created, it's happened. So if you are a bit confused about one thing to choose, just notice what arises. So it's not about kind of getting a little bit confused about what thing to choose. There will be one that sort of pops up for you. So in this exercise, it's learning to trust yourself. Often it's the first thing that popped up. Even if it's a small thing, choose that and bring it towards you so that you feel connected to it and as if it's happened. That end result you've created. And just sit in that space of having created it and noticing how you feel and what life looks like and who you are with. So you're making it a lot more tangible. So perhaps, as an example, if it's a book you've decided to complete, you can see it in hard format. You can see it being sold on Amazon. You're holding it in your hand and gifting it to your nearest and dearest. So it becomes a very tangible thing. If it's gaining more confidence or trust in yourself, it's noticing how that feels. So maybe you're making better decisions and you have greater clarity in your life and you know which path to take, and decisions are much cleaner and simpler. You feel more empowered. So you're just taking one of those end results you've created and blowing it up, making it bigger. And then looking back over that year before you had created it and just asking yourself what was obvious towards taking that first step towards this end result. What might you have done? So often we get very confused about all the steps. You're just looking at the first step. So here you are in all your wisdom, looking back over that year and just noticing or observing what was the most obvious first step to take. And now just picking up your pen and paper, and there's no right or wrong here, and just start writing. So choosing that one priority, something you want to create, an end result, and start writing out what that is for you and perhaps what that first step was, and starting now for 3 minutes. So you're stepping back into that feeling, blowing that picture up of that one thing that you have created, that end result, how it makes you feel, who you're with, what you might be doing. And then observing that first step that you took towards creating it. So really letting yourself be free again. There are no judgments, no right, no wrong. And just completing. Okay. So that exercise, I hope, really helps you go from like perhaps a state of overwhelm of, there's all these things I want to create, perhaps. And by choosing one, it's a good place to start with going, this is a year I really want to accomplish this thing. This is the end result I want to create. Because sometimes we make it just too complicated. And just if you were to create one of those things, that can give you more confidence to do other things. But you may find that you start on this process sooner, or you may create it, rather, the end result, sooner than you think. And by giving priority to one thing, it means that you have something to focus on, so that you can channel your energy into that. Rather, when we have a to-do list and we look at all these things we have to do, it can be overwhelming, and so we don't end up by doing anything. So I'll stay on the line if you'd like to chat and share that exercise, but I will stop the recording now, and wishing everyone, of course, that if you need to go, a very happy new year.